So we're talking about. So after all that long introduction, he's basically saying that I didn't come just to give drushes on these topics. I'm actually going to tell you what to do. So now, in the next parts of this, he's going to discuss what to do to actually come to Das and Ava and Yira. And look, it takes time to actually get there, but I'm saying he's going to talk about what to actually do. Okay, we spoke about the other day about you want to break your nefesh bahamis out of its shell so it can start perceiving elokus. It takes time to do that. And then when the nefesh bahamis starts perceiving elokus, it causes the nefesh elokis to perceive elokus even in a higher way. So there's a process how to do it, and a big part of Hasidus is actually coming to doing that. And because, like the Rambam says, one of the first mitzvahs in the Torah is to love Hashem. Now we do have a natural love of Hashem in our soul, but you got to work on that too to reveal it. And now he's going to talk about actually how to start doing the avoda of tefillah. Okay. L'agdama bazeh. So we're on page 350. L'agdama, and this is the following: Tzrich lavi dugma le'inyan zeh mima shenimtza etzli b'ktuvim mihani mili ma'aliyuta mivchinat pnimiyut u'metikut torat Admor Zal Nishmato Eden Al Inin Mamar Zohar Al Kadosh Parshat Pikudei. So there's a sefer called, we actually learned it on Shabbos. It's called Birurei HaZohar. Okay, the author Rabbi put it together. He took parts of the Zohar and he explained them according to Chassidus. And there's a sefer from the Middle Rebbe and a sefer from the Tzfat that go through these mamarim, explain different things. In the Alter Rebbe wrote about it that the way that he got to his Ruach HaKodesh was through this, of learning this specifically Friday night. The Sefer, because big orot in the Sefer. Because a lot of times when you read the Zohar, you don't really understand it fully, so he brings it in that you can understand it LP or Seichel. And it's big, really big revelations in the Sefer. So, what is it?
I'm going to buy it.
Okay, good. So now, Parsha Pekudei, it says, okay, let's see one second. And just in footnote 61 it says Bezor Sham Mevueret Ba'arichut Tchilat Mare Nevuah Shara Yecheskel. So in the Zohar over there in Parsha Pikudei, it discusses Yecheskel's vision when he saw the Mivnei of the Beis HaMikdash. It says Ish Mar'ehu Kamare Nechoshet. He sees the appearance of Nechoshet is copper. Meir Beziv Meyuchad, it's a special color. Repetil Pishtim Chevel Tzorach Medida Biado V'Knei Hamida. And there was a ptil pishtim. Pishtim means flax. He had like a special rope of flax for measurement. And he also had a Knei Hamida, which means a reed to measure. Okay, now Al Pi Chasidus is the Kav Hamida and the Knei Hamida. And these are the things that exist. And the Choshet represents Gvura. Okay, so it's like Gvura Sheba Gvura, which basically means the Gvura that's within Atik. Explains it in that mimer there, that it's Hashem's ability to measure things. Okay, so now Vu Amad Bishar Ikar Dvarim Hu Sheyesh B'Chinat Nikrat Mashchata Medida. There's a thing called Mashchata, which means measurement. He had Tzimtzum B'Or Elokila Ir B'Mida Gvul. It's the way Hashem is able to limit His light, so He could shine a light in a limited way. Uba yesh shtei madriga. There's two levels in it. Achat batoch tchum kedusha. One is in the levels of kedusha, which is called mishchata kadma b'gvarim kiddushin, which is medida rishona b'gvarim kiddushin, the first measurement in holy colors. Shayechet lekisui yeriot hamishkan harishon, which is like the covers of the first yeriah of the mishkan. She choshvan dilei salik lebet. Cheshbon Medita Olim Shloshim V'Shtayim. The measure for it is 32. Sorry, yeah. Hanu Shemidotav. So the midah B'Tziruf Ha'orach V'Arochav, if you combine the length and the width, was 32 amas. Orach Yeriah Chat Shmoneh V'Esrim Be'ama V'Rachav Arba Amot. So those two measures together, 32. Ramez L'Shloshim V'Shtayim Netivot b'tzad kedusha, which is this hint of 32 paths in the side of kedusha. Vashniya hi yeriyah chitzonit The second one is the outer uriah. Hamechaseh al kisur rishon, it covers over the first cover, which is called mishchata tanina dilvar ihu lachafia al da. So in Hebrew it's medida shniya. The second measure shebemichutz, that's outside, shehi lachasot al zeh, which is the cover on this. Shemidata shlashim ve'arba amot, which his measure is 34. Orchi yareh achat shlashim be'amav arochav arba amot, 30 plus 4 is 34, which is gematria dal, which means oni gadol boyoter si hayirida ba'orloki. Dal means poor. It's the deepest level of poverty, which is the ultimate descent of the light of godliness. That means from the first area was one descent, which is still in kedusha. Then the second area is already a level of poor, which means like there's such a diminishing of the light of kedusha.
0 to 32, and then 32 to 34 is just this little.
But it's saying, but in the end of the day, it's still a big.
Is it 34 counting from 32 or 34 counting from 0?
I think it's from 32, but I don't think you necessarily only look at it as like a number thing, because there's like a whole new masach on it. There's a whole new garment that's covering over.
Well, right. Which one's the bigger fish? Seems like the first one's the bigger fish.
Oh, you saying there's a bigger symptom from Hashem to 32? Yeah.
From finite to finite but worse.
Right. Yeah. Okay. It could be right.
Like
but one's in kedusha, but also from the two different areas. One's in kedusha, one's even not even in kedusha.
You could say that's like.
It's closer to each other. It could be. Oh, nice.
Like the klipa is the Yeshma.
It could be. Yeah. It could be.
So this is sounding like it's talking about a continuation of yesterday, what we were talking about, people being on the surface level and not being able to reach higher levels, and they're like fooling themselves.
Yeah, it could be that the guy in the level of Dal, he didn't even get into kedusha yet, and the light is so mitzumtzum. He's revving the engine. It's a good mashal.
Revving the engine.
It's a good mashal, yeah. So mesayam sham bezor bahu dilvar. This one that's on the outside, kol mad osif gara. Whatever you add, it gets worse. Madil gav ktiv, and what's on the inside? Yeah, if it's on the side of klipa, more money, more problems. But madil gav ktiv, and what it says on the inside, it says in Parshat Truma, ve'et mishkan ta'aseh eser yerod. The mishkan needs to make 10 curtains. B'ma dilvar ktiv, on the outside it says ashtei asrei yerod, 11 curtains. Osif chushbana, they added to the number. Dichtiv erech yerah achat, 30 ba'ama, v'rachav arba ma yirya, v'chad salik lechushbana, salik lechushban. Daila mevin. If you take away the chushban, then you take away the chushban. But yeah, I'm in the middle of the footnote. Okay, the late b'chol inun zine. It can actually tell you what in Hebrew soon. Okay, the late b'chol inun zine meskunta kahud ikri dal. You don't have anything as poor as someone who's called dal. Okay, dal means poor. V'gin kach kad salik lechush bana yatir salik b'girya. Therefore, if you add in number to the poor, then it gets worse. The 32 is the secret of all faith. The Raza the Shema Kadisha, the secret of Hashem's holy name. V'alda, and on this, the salik v'dagra, the salik v'gra, the gra v'salik, the love v'love bar. Okay, we're going to explain now what that means in Ivrit. Okay, kisui chitzoni kol mashir mosif korah. The outer garment, whatever you add, it gets worse. V'bekisui pnimi ne'emar ve'eta mishkan ta'aseh esirot. The mishkan, you shall make 10 curtains. Bekisui shemachut ne'emar, and the outside it says ashtei asariyot, 11. Hosif becheshbon, so they added 1. Be'yirah chitzoni ve'yirah pnimi. Shene'emar orch yariyah achat. Shloshim ba'ama. It says the orech of the area, the one is 30 ba'ama, v'rochav arba, and 4 ama ha'yirya, v'kasher oleh lecheshbon dal. So 30 plus 4 is 34. 34 is gematria dal. She'ein b'chol sugei ha'nitzko tosh nekadal. Because out of all things that are poor, the worst one is called dal. What about Rosh? I think it says in another place that Rosh is worse than dal. Right.
What about Aviom?
Okay. Yeah. Mishum kach k'sholeh chush b'chushbon yoter oleh b'chisron. Therefore, when you add, it actually adds a lack. Kasher garua mechashbon oleh b'aliyah sheoleh l'sid lamed bet. And when the worst goes up in elevation, when it goes to 32, which is Sod Kol Ha'amuna, which is the secret of all faith, and it's the sort of the Shema Kadosh, Alkin Nimsa Ze'oleh V'Zegoreh. So this one goes up, and this one diminishes, Ze'oleh V'Goreh. And then one of them, when it goes up, it gets worse, V'Zegoreh V'Oleh. This one gets worse and goes up. This is Pnimi, and this is Chitzoni. Okay, that's the words of the Zohar, Parshat Pikudei. Now, back into the main text right after the number 61, it says, there is a man with the appearance of copper. He has a rope of flax. He has like a measuring stick in his hand. We read that already.
The last phrase there.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Am I getting the right idea that there's one that goes up and one that goes down? What is that? One, when it goes up, it causes a diminishment actually, which is the guy who's like the Kitzonians, and then the other guy is within the first curtain. When he goes down, he diminishes in his worldliness or bad meters or whatever he's going down. That causes an aliyah.
Yeah, right. Amen.
Does that seem?
Yeah, I think it seems like right. Yeah. Okay, the Misha Kadma Begvani Kadisha Chashiv Elei Delay Salik Lamed Bet Shuor Chayariya Dach Chach 28 V'Roch of Dalet. Okay, V'Mishchita Tanina Dilevard Il Lechafia Ada Salik Cheshmon Dal. So the inner curtain is 32, the outer curtain is 34, which is Dal. Kireh Izim Orach Shlashim Chulu Ad Da Gara V'Salik V'Da Salik V'Gara. So one of them, when it gets lower, it goes up. One of them, when it goes up, it gets lower. Viru hatakat abiru alzeh nimtza b'ktavim etzli. And look at the writings that I have to explain this concept. Okay, footnote 63. Let's read it. Okay. Ma'amer zeh she'admor zaken kvi shenichtav al yedei admor imtzai. Masiv b'sefer bir ezor pikudei nun zayin amud aleph elech. B'sham, over there it says like this: Mevuar sheshtei b'china temuzkar the Zohar kan. These two levels talked about in the Zohar, hen ha'arat or eloki, hamitzumtzam kafi shehi adayin b'tchum kedusha, is the godly light that is contracted as it's still in the levels of kedusha. Real b'chinat klipat noga, and the level of klipat noga, which is the or eloki or red yoter, it's the godly light that goes lower down v'nasem mustar b'toch mitziut hara, and it gets hidden inside of the existence of evil. That's the klipas noga. In the level of Kedusha, Hargashat HaMitziut Sheba Meria Ha'ara Mit Ma'etet Umit Batelet Mi'ut HaKelim. Okay, so when we're talking about the level of Kedusha, the feeling of the existence in it shines, there's a ray that shines and it gets lower and it gets diminished, which is called miut kalim, because in kedusha the kalim is less.
As I improve spiritually within there, I'll feel myself less and less.
Right. So meaning the more you are diminishing your kalim and feeling your existence less and less, then you cause that there should be a growth of the ray of godliness that's shining to the person, which is ribui ha'orot. So what's kedusha? The less you feel yourself and your own existence, then you're able to feel God's existence more. Now we're talking about levels of klipa. Hagashat hamitziut mitrabe yoter v'davar gorem lehelem v'hester nosafa or lakit. So the more you start, so in klipa, the more you're feeling yourself causes a hiddenness and in the godly light.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness. In order.
That or the idea of yesh and visual. Maybe saying yesh and visual pashtus.
Yeah, maybe it isn't no. He's just saying pshat.
Yeah,
he's just saying pshat. Yeah.
Self-awareness, because on one side you have situation of what is it that tefillah is going to give you,
right?
And it's going to be able to give you all that you can use it for in order to be able to change you from being these kind of people where you just don't have the ability to have the closeness with God.
Right.
But this is it sounds like we're talking about the different levels of where you are that prevent you, all your different problems prevent you from the self-awareness that you
but
need
self-awareness
to have.
could prevent you also.
Self-awareness is what it prevents you.
Yeah, it's like too self-aware, you don't know about God.
Self-awareness is good.
There's a bad form of it though.
It's a bad form of it if you don't know how to
it's really
connect.
awareness of Hashem. Yeah, well, basically, once a person has dasas kedusha, then he sees Hashem's perspective, and then, like basically, we actually learned in the Bir Zohar,
wrong self-awareness.
Torah, it says because of the Shuir to Kollel, it causes that a person in his mind is lechatchila in a state of tzimtzumim. Therefore, he could get angry, get upset. Things could bother him. But basically, once the Or Eloki comes into the mind, then the Chesed is nimshach into the person, and then automatically, as a result of that happening, he wants to go lower himself to be mashpia. That's the natural reaction of it. Therefore, that das of kedusha is within the Chesed, and then
wasn't Chesed all the time. Nothing upsets this guy. He can freely go into a darker
he's free.
place.
Yeah, he's free, and he could go and help the situation. He's more
swallowed up the situation.
right. Meaning, if a person's bothered by this person doing this and that, then meaning that his mind has a lot of tzimtzumim in it, and it's from the Shuir to Kollel, and he has to do the avoda to bring in more Or Eloki, which will bring down more Chesed.
He's going to be
which will turn him in from an Ish to an Adam. So Ish is an Ish milchama. He's in a war, but the Adam is that he actually has that the Moch has the Or Eloki, which is mishpashet to his lev, and then he's in a low Adam, and then he's able to mashpia.
What he's saying is, I am right.
Could be, that could come from klipa sometimes.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah. Okay, so now back in the text, okay, right after 63, it says, "V'kamuvan v'mitochen yuvan kol ikar inyan zeh mamash b'chol pratei chilukav." So from this we can understand all the details of it. Biyot muvan tamtzita inyan, to understand the point over here. She'ikar hefesh ben sitra the kedusha sitra the noga. So what's the difference between kedusha and noga? Shebekedusha b'chinat hakli hu b'chinat hayeshut shel or. So kedusha, the keli, is the yeshus of the or, the existence of the light. B'chinat habitul betachlit, and this is completely nullified. B'chinat the kli the noga, but the kli of noga yesh murgash pit tosefet merubel likar. The keli of noga has such a strong feeling of itself more than the main thing itself. Pit tosefet zeh gir on, and this additional self-awareness is actually causing a lack in the thing itself, okay? Because the main thing is the or, and the secondary thing is the keli. So when a person makes the keli the main thing, and therefore it becomes more important than the or, then he's in the klipas noga. When the or becomes more important than the keli, because that is the reality of the thing, then you're in kedusha, okay? Bir inyan zeh yuvan mi inyan chesed l'umim chatat. Okay, so this is the thing that when everyone does tshuva and they read the first chapter of Tanya, they get triggered by it, okay? But it says it in Torah, it's true. Now we have to understand what it means. There's actually sikhs about it. What does it mean? Because you could have the Umas Olam that do chesed. It's true, they do chesed. So what it says basically, the chesed of the nations is considered a sin. Okay?
Yeah, I'm triggered now.
Well, you have a problem. You have a problem. Why? Because if you're in Kedusha, it shouldn't trigger you.
Yeah,
but there are exceptions.
No, we're not saying that.
What do you mean by chesed?
We're going to see what that means. You understand? Look at footnote 64. There's also letters in Igros Kodesh explaining this stuff more at length, which you could look at if you're really triggered. But if you're okay with it, then you don't have to look at it. Okay, footnote 64 says the following. The nature of klipa is yeshus. Feeling of the self. My own feelings of myself. Okay, that is the nature of what klipa is. Lachin gama chesed shenaseh mitzad klipa. Therefore, the chesed that's done from klipa, who mitoch kavana de letoelet ishit, is with the kavana for personal gains. Okay, why are you building houses in Africa? Because it makes you feel good, and you also care about people there. that should have houses too. Okay, now there is a thing, I think Rabbi Ginsburg talks about it, is that he says that as Mashiach approaching, then there is a bechina of a nefesh elokis by the nations that becomes more revealed, okay? So there's a bechina of it, okay? But it's not like the same as someone who has a nefesh elokis that's a nitzutz of the bora that's mislavish into the yechira, okay? It's a whole different game, but there's still a bechina of it, okay? Okay.
Are we defining sin here as increasing yeshus?
That's what, yeah.
So in other words, the chesed that comes from yeshus, as far as my personal avoid is concerned, even if it helps guys in Africa, it's going to cause me to become a bigger yesh.
Yeah, and that is where the sin exists, because that yesh actually is ma'or dinim, because it's not an altruistic type of thing, okay?
Because it's based on selfishness. That's what so Tanya's saying, because the goyim do it based on.
No, because the goyim, their souls come from the shlosh klipas tmeis.
What does that mean?
It comes from the side of impurity. Therefore, it comes from yeshus, and there's no way to do it differently.
For them, it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's a very high level for them. There is some motives of self within that, no matter how selfless you try to do it. But like because a Jew could do something with Mesiras Nefesh, okay, just because he was ready to give himself to Hashem, and that power of your soul gets revealed. Like as Tanya explains that if a Jew is chas shalom in a situation of life or death, he'll give his life over on Kiddush Hashem, because when he's in that situation, the Or Ein Sof that's melubash in his soul from the level of Chokhmah gets revealed, and that automatically puts him in a state of Mesiras Nefesh, which is only powered by a Jew to have such a thing.
Well, the Muslims
Yeah, but the Muslims are not doing it for Hashem himself. They're doing it for a level of Sol Ka'almin, which basically means they want Olam Haba. That's what it
But
means.
what happened? Who says that also a Jew, he does, for example, a very rich man, he donates, wants his name everywhere. He's doing it for the sake of his status and to show off.
It's a lower level tzedakah.
That's the same as the good.
Yeah.
He's just not tapping into his being a Jew.
Still good, We'll still take it. Put a few names in the building. Put a few names in the building, no problem,
What if you find
Get some plaques on your.
What do you say?
Get the big plaques.
Get a plaque, Get a couple plaques. It's like when I went to camp in near Montreal. It's like everything had a plaque on it, and it's like they have like a rock, like this rock's donated, and you have like this plaque for the rock has been donated from. Everything's done. Okay, so now or chesed hatov bebechinat nifrad. So now, when the klipa exists, so what happens is that the light of the chesed and the good is now separate from the keli. Okay, al ken a kli shelo. Therefore, the kli should bechinat yeshut shelo, which is the yeshus of the person that's separated from the or of the chesed. Hu mitpashtet beyoter mimirat or. So now, since it's a separation, so the keli now spreads more than the light spreads. So therefore, the person is in a state of yeshus, because there's a separation between the or and the chesed and the tov that's in the or, separated from the kli, and therefore that is a lack, and that lack, we call that a sin. Because the keli now is stronger than the or. So he's not in full kedusha yet. As an example for this is tzadikim amrim me'at v'osim harbeh. Tzadikim say a little bit and do a lot. Pirush. Omrim. What does it mean? They say a little. They say a little bit. Omrim hu b'chinas hakli hamagalit. To say something represents the revealed part of your keli. Omer me'at hu b'chinas bitul means that the part of the keli that's revealed is only me'at, only a little bit, which means that they're in a state of bitul, ve'osim harbeh, but they do a lot. U'bereshayim hu lehefech. The wicked is the opposite. Omrim harbeh, they say a lot, which means gasut v'hitzpashut hayesh, the kli, that the yesh of their kli is very spreading forth and very strong. Ve'osim they do a little bit, mipnei b'chinat giran ha'or, because of the lack of the light, and it's like an opposite experience. Okay, we'll pause it here.
There's one other page on
tested the wind katas, basically morning above the
Yeah.
that we should try to restrict the ability for the Jews to do has